Hi, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, The Adventures of Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. Also, this month is Jacktober, a month-long celebration of the works of Jack Kirby. Here's the prompt list for Jacktober. Each day there's a different Jack Kirby-related drawing prompt. Everyone's invited to interpret those drawing prompts in whatever way they choose and come up with drawings and post them on your favorite social media platform. And be sure to include the Jacktober hashtag so that I can see them. We're up to day 5. Today's prompt is Kang. For that prompt, I did a mashup of Kang and Krang, who I sometimes accidentally call one the other. So I thought it would be fun to kind of combine the two. And then the other one is a little more sort of straightforward, dramatic rendering of Jack Kirby's Time Traveler. So this is the Mighty Thor number 125, When Meet the Immortals, featuring the coming of Hercules. Now, all through this series, there have been ups and downs, highs and lows, and, the past bunch of issues have been really great, just keep getting better and better. And with this issue, we are now entering the phase of all-time great comics. From here on out, it's one classic after another. And this one, it's just all the bits and pieces, the soap opera, the various background elements, they're just coming together in just, such a wonderful way, really exemplifying, the greatness of this sort of Marvel formula that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee came up with. It's stories like this that are why this became the dominant form of comics superhero storytelling up to the present day. Written by Stan Lee, by Jack Kirby, by Vince Colletta, lettered by Artie Simic. I don't know if there's something that was originally there and isn't, but in any event, as always, Jack Kirby is the co-writer of these stories in addition to the artist. So we're picking up where we left off. Thor's battle with the demon. The demon's got the Nornstone, making him in the same ballpark as Thor. They're able to, go head to head. And it's a pretty fun fight. He grabs a big chunk of earth, throws it at Thor. Thor breaks it into a million pieces with his hammer. Just, fun stuff. Big, beautiful panel depicting all this. And we cut back to Hercules. We saw him a little bit last issue. Now he's sleeping in a grassy field, could be anywhere. But as it turns out, he's made his way to Earth, and there's a train stopped on the tracks. The noise has interrupted his sleep. Hercules comes out, lifts the thing up, and throws it away. Not so much to be a helper or be a hero, but just to sort of get rid of this annoyance so he can, move on with his life, enjoy his nap. He asks them where the train's going. They tell him that they're going to the city, and Hercules likes that idea. Hercules has always loved cities. It is there where the crowds are, where reveling and merrymaking are ever to be found. And who can enjoy the good life as much as an Olympian god? Take me then to your city, Hercules commands. And this is one of those cases in sort of storytelling where you create a parallel version of a character, in this case, the hero Thor. You create a parallel version of him. And as a result, you hold a mirror up to Thor, but then you also get to see the ways that Thor differs from Hercules. And maybe even Hercules as a possibility for Thor, as like a way that Thor could be if he were to, go down a different path in his life. And so Hercules is much more sort of selfish, carefree, bacchanalian, just enjoys a good time, where Thor is much more serious and buttoned down and burdened by his responsibilities. So Thor throws his hammer into this cannon, just sort of classic superhero action storytelling, or at least it's become classic. It wasn't classic when Kirby started doing it. Kirby was inventing these things. With the hammer in there, the weapon backfires, explodes on the demon. Thor gets his hammer back. Again, this is just seamless, beautiful action storytelling. And the demon's knocked unconscious. Thor takes back the Nornstone. And this, chapter of his story is done. He's tied up this last loose end from that Trial of the Gods storyline from a few issues prior. The demons horde is without a leader. They disperse and problem solved. Thor takes off and teleports himself to Asgard and finds that Odin is in a really bad mood. And it's because he's angry at Thor for revealing his secret identity to Jane Foster. My son hath betrayed his trust. Your blade, loyal Balder, smite him. Balder's got this super kick-ass helmet this issue. Odin has commanded him to attack Thor. Thor must endure the ritual of steel. And should he survive, he shall never more set foot upon the planet Earth. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. He's going to do the trial of steel, possibly, have to fight all his friends, possibly die, possibly kill them. And then if he does survive, the prize is he gets to never go back to Earth again. So he's kind of, fucked either way. Punish me as you will, but I cannot forsake my heart. No, Father, she whom I love dwells there. Punish me as you will, but I cannot forsake my heart. Odin commands, all these Asgardian warriors to attack Thor. And we get a couple of, really great half-page sized panels. Thor's just going to town fighting. Again, like we've mentioned this in previous issues, but I mean, you got these great Jack Kirby Asgardian warrior designs, amazing helmets, cool action, just the sort of contrast between these two panels, this sort of from behind view with Thor kind of small, and then here a close-up and just sort of, agonized and being sort of stretched in every direction as he fights these guys. And then we get a transition, a panel-to-panel transition. And in previous episodes, I've been, and I think also on New God Sunday School, I've been referring to these as sort of Alan Moore-style transitions, half jokingly, because obviously Jack Kirby's doing this before Alan Moore was, really doing anything in comics. But it's like a device you'd see a lot in Watchmen in particular, where you'd have a character in a certain pose, and then you'd cut to another scene with like a similar composition, similar pose of, something else going on. And it was usually, intended for some sort of, ironic statement or some kind of chemistry between the two scenes. And, Kirby, it's becoming a tool that Kirby's using in these comics. So we have Thor in this agonized martyr position, being sort of, unfairly, punished or having, the weight of the world on his shoulders. And then we cut to another god in a similar pose, except he's just having the time of his life. He's hanging out at a restaurant, having trays of food brought to him, girls swooning, feeling his muscles, worshiping his body, worshiping his physique. And now he gets out his guitar, he starts playing it. I knew it. He's a folk singer plugging a new disc. Those sort of, hallmark, jokes and references that are just, part of that Marvel formula. And he's playing the guitar. It's a regular sized guitar, but it looks almost like a ukulele in his hands, just enjoying life and part of the music scene. And then some, old school gangster bank robbers show up. And I love this panel. This could be a poster for, your music gig or whatever. Hercules slamming them, like The Who or Jimi Hendrix or somebody, just slamming these guys with the guitar as if it were Thor's hammer. And then, again, just like a great, you have this like fun character stuff, him in the restaurant, and then, we break out into some, just really great superhero action stuff. What monumental insolence! A mortal, a mere mortal, and he doth attack Hercules. So Hercules is like less interested in saving the day or helping these people, and more sort of, worrying about his sort of, injured pride. He throws this guy out a window, and then he goes outside to see what's going on. He grabs this lamppost, throws it. A beautiful, beautiful sequence of destruction. Knocking the wheels, the bottom off of this car. You could see how this could almost like branch out into a new type of superhero, more akin to some of the superheroes we saw in the 80s and 90s, where if Hercules had gotten his own comic around this time, we might have these You have sort of the flawed superheroes of the Marvel Universe, but then having even more flawed superheroes with even deeper flaws, and maybe into the realm of being anti-heroes. Just really delicious stuff. And then I like this bit. Jane Foster sees all this stuff going on outside the window. She's kind of far away, but enough to see the destruction. So she thinks it's Thor. She thinks, oh, great, Thor's back. I'm going to go reunite with him. My love has returned. And so she tries to get closer. There's a whole crowd around him. She can't see him. And then as she gets closer, she's like, oh shit, that's not Thor. I am Hercules. And now it's too late. Hercules has his eye on Jane Foster. This guy wants to sign Hercules to a movie contract so he can star in Hercules movies, replace Steve Reeves in the role. Great panel-to-panel transition here. This guy's getting in between Hercules and Jane Foster, and then that guy ends up in a trash can. This could be a meme right here. Back to Thor. Hercules is, eating Thor's lunch. Hercules is living the life that Thor should be living, out on the town with Thor's beloved. And Thor is here, again, weight of the world on his shoulders, fighting his way through, fighting every warrior in Asgard. He breaks free, and now it's him versus Heimdall. And Heimdall is a tough customer. Great little battle. And then Heimdall's got the most sensitive ears in the universe, so Thor does a super loud clang on Heimdall's shield. Heimdall is stunned by the noise of that. Cut back to Odin's throne room, and Balder surrenders his sword to Odin and says, I surrender my sword to thee, sire. Let thy hand slay Balder, if it be thy wish. I could not find it in my heart to smite the god of thunder. So in that melee with all those Asgardians, Balder did not take part, in case you were wondering. And he knows the price to pay for that, for disobeying Odin. But his love of Thor is just, too great to even follow that order from the king of the gods. Rise, faithful one. The fault is not thine, but rests with me alone. I spoiled Thor. Then the all-seeing eyes of omnipotent Odin turn once again to the fleeing thunder god as the vengeful monarch ponders the punishment he shall inflict upon his rebellious son. So this is going to bear fruit in the next issue. And so Thor's got his homecoming. It's great. You can send Thor off on some far distant adventure and get some momentum out of that. And then he comes home, you get some momentum out of that. How have things changed since he's been gone? What's waiting for him? And so he comes back. For the love of Pete, another one? This town's crawling with human powerhouses. Another one? What do you mean? Speak, mortal. Thor commands. Answer him, Charlie. He's one guy you don't want to kid around with. See for yourself, mister. Just look through that soda parlor window. Dare I believe my eyes? Thor sees Jane Foster out on a date with Hercules, drinking soda. He's holding her hand. Ah, this liquid is like nectar of the gods. Jane, I have returned. Really? I forgot you had been away. Oh, it's Thor. This guy knows. He's dropping his serving tray and he's going to jet. I thought you loved me, but again you left without a word or explanation. Well, I'm through being left behind, wondering, never knowing when or if you'll return. So, this was a possible outcome that Thor had considered when he went off to battle the demon, but he made the hard decision. And to me, in storytelling terms, I think that's the definition of a hero, is a character in a story has to make, really hard decisions where each possibility has its own, cost. And the hero makes that decision and deals with the consequences. Stop, you know not what you say. You must allow me to explain. If you think that I wanted to be parted from you, if you could but know the odds I face to return to you. And what of me? What of the long, lonely hours? The empty, endless days? I wonder if Jack Kirby or Stan Lee or both of them, in this moment are maybe living out a version of their own drama in life where, they have this incredibly demanding job that takes, all these hours and then these moments where, their wife is kind of like, what about me? What are you doing at that drawing table all day? Just a little speculation on my part. Greetings, God of Thunder. I knew we would one day meet again. Stand aside, Hercules. 'Tis not with you I wish to speak. They first met in Thor Annual #1, right? Stan. And we all remember that issue. We talked about it on this show. How came you to be here with him? I must hear your answer. Hold, Thunder God, stand you away. Hercules speaks. None may ignore the favored son of Zeus, and none may raise a voice to a female whom Hercules looks upon with favor. Verily, it is beyond belief to think that another would smite Thor in defense of Jane Foster. Slowly, the mighty thunder god rises to his feet, his eyes blazing with cataclysmic fury, his very soul clamoring for vengeance. Brazen one, defend thyself. Next issue, the Battle of Titans. Great panel here, which could be, the cover of this issue or the cover of next issue. Just an amazing comic. I mean, all of the elements are all in place now. We have, the cosmic, larger than life, threats of Asgard and the wrath of Odin. You have another, hero, the equal to Thor, who is also a romantic rival for Thor. We are in rarefied air right now, and it's going to keep going for a while. This is the stuff that cements Marvel's place in the culture. This is where, Stan and Jack, become, Lennon and McCartney. This is, all this sort of, boomer nostalgia around this stuff. And then, the generations that came later, like myself, who, hold this stuff in really high regard. It's all, it's like from this point onward, this is the stuff. This is what it's all about. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, The Adventures of Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. And October is Jacktober. There are 31 drawing prompts, one for each day of Jacktober, that are Jack Kirby-related themes that you can use to inspire a drawing or more that day. Today's drawing prompt was Kang, so I drew a couple versions of Kang and posted it on social media using the hashtag Jacktober. I invite you to do the same. Tomorrow's drawing prompt is Captain 3D. I'll see you next time for Thor's Day Comics.